So in this video, we are going to see how to compute some values from values that of course we know. First of all, what are values? Values are simple things such as a number, or of course we all know what a number is, or it can be a piece of text, and we represent a piece of text in most of the programming languages by strings. And strings are uh, really anything that is included between the quotes, and actually can be double quotes, single quotes, and also these backward quotes. And we can see that all of these gets evaluated to the, in this case, single quotes, but all these are actually strings. And in between those quotes we can write some characters such as hello, and all these are characters. And since they are included between the quotes, the hello string now is a text and it is a value. So since now we know two kind of values, the numbers and the strings, there is also another important basic value, which are booleans. And booleans can be can have only two values, two kind of values, which are true and false. And actually booleans are very useful, and we will see why in the if statement video and also the for and while statement videos. But we will focus in this lesson on how to use these values to build expressions. Now we can of course write expression with numbers as we can expect by using the simple math operators such as 2 plus 2, as we saw before, 3 multiplied by 3, and also of course 4 minus 3, which will give us 1, and also of course negative numbers. 3 minus 4 is minus 1. And we can do also division, and this will give us a non-integer value. As a result, 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, 2.5. So we get 2.5 in JavaScript. And these are the most basic operation you can do. You can, of course, do also powers. Say I want to know the 2 to the power of 3, and you can compute the value as if it was the double multiplication operation. This will evaluate to 2 to the third power, and we will see what this does. But actually only this is the computed part, and we know that 2 to the third power is 8. And you can also compute the power by the math, which is a built-in object, and we will see. Actually now this is telling us that this is an object, and we'll see what objects are in future videos. But actually you are only interested in writing math.pow, which is the power operation of course, and writing 2 comma 3, you get the same result as 2 to the third power. So these are the basic operation you can do with numbers. Then we can do also operation with strings by using the plus operator, which is of course an operator that we can use with numbers if applied to a string. So if any of the argument is a string, then we will get back a string. And please notice how I added here a space, because without a space, of course, the result would have been just one single string without any space. Now you can use the plus operator with strings and number, and you will get a string as a result. Since one of the two operator is a string, it will get converted to a string automatically. And we can also put some text here, and we get the string concatenated with the number. And this is the same as doing hello, which is our string, and then converting the number into a string itself. and the result is really the same. This kind of behavior is probably something that you will see only in JavaScript, but you can also write first the number and then a string, and you will get also a string back. So since now we know how to use the plus operator between numbers, and of course also the minus or multiplication, etc., with numbers, and we know how to use the plus operator with strings. And now let me talk about the operation between booleans. And the most important operator between booleans are for sure the and, the or, and the not operators. And these operators are logical operators. And starting from two booleans actually, the and the or takes two booleans, and the not only one, will give us um, other booleans. Now, of course, remember that the only values that a boolean can be are true or false, and we can use the operator we just saw. So here you can see the results of the AND operator with both false and true, and we see that the AND operator returns false every time there is at least one false. So false and false, of course, here we have two false, so the result is false. False and true, the result is false because we have here a false. And true and false returns a false. And at the end, only true and true returns a true. And this makes sense. We can say that a sentence where we use the and word is true when both the first and the second part are true. So if I say today is sunny and the childs are playing in the playground, if both the childs are playing in the playground and then today is sunny, the sentence is true. But say that if the childs are playing in the playground but today is cloudy, then the whole sentence is false, even if only the second is true. But today is cloudy and it is not sunny, so that is false, and then the whole sentence become false. Now the opposite happens with the or operator, and the or operator returns false only if both are false. Otherwise, if at least one of the operand is true, then it returns true. And this also makes sense since when using or also in a sentence, we only require one of the statement to be true. And of course, saying that today is sunny or the play the the childs are playing in the playground requires only one of the statements to be true. So as long as the childs are playing in the playground, so in this case and this case, we will get true. Or as long as the day is sunny, we will get true because one of the two statements are true. But if both it today is cloudy and the childs are not playing in the playground, then both the statements are false, then we get a false. And then, least but not least, we have the not operator. And what it does is taking a boolean and returning its opposite. So since we know that there can be only two kind of booleans, saying not true is equal to saying false, and saying not false is equal to say true. And we can use the not operator also twice, but will not do much since we are actually doing not true, which return a false, and then doing not false, which returns a true. So doing not is a double negation, which is equal to the first boolean we gave to the not operator. And there are also some other operators which will allow us to create booleans from other values. And I think the most important are the equal operation with three equals, or the not equal operation with a not and two equals, so that the length of the operator is 3 in both cases. So 3 equal to assert an equality, and not equal to assert a difference between the values. And we can see this in action. We can ask JavaScript if 2 is equal with 3 equals to 2. And this is true. And we have just created a Boolean value from two numbers. And we can also ask if 2 is equal to 3, and this is false. But we can also ask if 2 is different than 3, and this is true, since 2 is not 3, and that would actually be the same as asking not. Notice here the not operator, and then whatever returns from 2 is 2 equals 2, and of course is false, as in this case. And of course, asking for the equality between some equal values and then negate them with the not operator is the same as doing the difference between the same values. And we see that we get a false in the case when we ask if the two values are equal and then negate, since this returns true, but then we get false. And in the case when we ask for difference, we are using the difference operator between the same values here, and we get a false. So the difference is just the negation of the equality. We can use the equality operator also with strings, and this will return true only if the strings are exactly equal, not a char more. Notice how here I added a space, and now this string is different than this string. And also important is that the capitals matters. In fact, writing hello with non-capitals and writing hello all capital gives us a false, since this string is different than this string. And other useful operators that you can use to get Boolean values from numbers are the greater than or less than, or, well, of course we saw the equal, or we can also use the greater or equal than, or the less or equal. Now, asking to JavaScript if 2 is less than 3 will of course evaluate to true, but asking if 2 is less than 2 is false, since 2 is actually equals. So we can ask if 2 is less or equal than 2, and we get a true. And notice how writing less or equal is actually asking if 2 is less than 2, or 2 is equal to 2. And we see that this evaluates to the same, and this is because in this case this evaluates to false and this evaluates to true. And as we saw before, the false or true returns a true, since at least one of the statement is true, and then we get like a true. And we can do all this with only one operator, and the same is valid of course for the greater than operator. And we can ask if 2 is greater than 3, and this is false, but we can also ask if 4 is greater than 3, and this is true. And the same we can do with the greater than or equal, which does the same job as the less or equal, only with the greater operator. So in this video we went through the various operations that we can create with values, also with the mathematical operation, and the booleans operation. We saw how to get booleans from other kind of values, also from strings and number. So if you learned something from this video, please like it, and also consider to subscribe to the channel so that you can keep learning with me. Thank you for your time. We'll see you in another video. Bye bye.